So, we are back in the studio, and if you haven't followed this channel, we are renovating a 30-year-old Soundtracs JADE console. And today we are going to have a look at one of the channels and see if we can clean it up and see what's going on with the crackles coming from the gain puts and the pan knobs. Check it out. We are going to check out the channel strips. One of the first things we did when we bought the console was to try out all the channels, and we noticed that most of the channel strips had problems with crackles with the gain potentiometers. There are two of them, and also some of the panning knobs as well. And if we just put some sound through the console, we immediately can hear that there are crackles going on here. And we can also see it on the meter. If we tweak the gain knob, just massage it a little bit, then it gets better. So it seems like these kind of problems is with the potentiometer. If we have a look at channel 25, it looks like it's dead. But if we just massage the gain knobs a bit, then it's coming back to life. It could also be that the problem is further down the line, but we will start to do something with the potentiometers. Actually, it could also be this switch. And one thing here with the first two channels, if we put the gain at the exact same position, we can see that the level is different here. That is also something that we're going to figure out what it can be. The first thing I would like to try is to just check if this problem is within the channel strips or anywhere else in the console. So I think the first thing we do is just swap these two channels and see if the problems follow. Okay, so as we can see here, we swapped these two channels and the problem followed along. So that means that it is the channels that is having that problem with the level. And as you heard, there are also some crackles that we need to fix. My original plan was to change all the gain potentiometers and all the pan potentiometers. But I got advice from so many people to try a couple of things before we do that. So let's bring these channels to the workbench and see what we can try out first. Okay, so we have the channel strip and it's time to take away some parts to get access to the potentiometers and the switch buttons. So then we have the buttons left, and it seems like they are just, you can just pull them out, but it's quite difficult. So I think we will use a screwdriver. You can take these buttons off with just the fingers, but it's quite difficult to get a good grip, so it seems like a good idea to push with a screwdriver and hold on the other side so they don't wiggle. We also have this row of buttons, but since it's quite difficult to get the screwdriver in between the circuit boards. You don't want to shortcut any of the capacitors. So maybe we just pull this one off instead. My God, that was a really bad idea. Okay, so that didn't work out quite as I had expected. I sneaked myself. Okay, so maybe this is not the best. Fuck. We just carefully wiggle this out, trying not to make any scratch marks on the buttons. Just double check here so that we don't get any marks on the buttons, but they're looking fine. I think this is the way to do it. Wow, here we go. Yeah. Oh man. We have this switch where we have some kind of locking ring around it. Maybe just take a really sharp knife and see if we can access it. Yeah, it seems to be the way. The other side. Yeah, there we have it come loose. There we have the button loose. Great. So it seems like we have to take away the connector here. And off it comes. Here we have the mute button. Perfect. So now we just have to screw off these rings. So we have the two screws for the small fader that we have to take away first. And we will also unplug it from the socket here. Like this. I'm not quite sure if the two boards are connected to each other in some way, other than the connectors that we have loosened. And we have the 3 screws here on the frame, and we'll take them away and see if it will come off. Here we have it coming right off. Yes, of course there are connectors between the boards. Now we have to be really careful, because now it's really fragile. It has some weight and it flexes a bit. Yeah, there are connectors between the boards. It probably can be opened, but I think we should avoid it if we don't absolutely have to do it. Because at this point we can access the potentiometers, and we can access the switches as well. And that is what we want. And if we have a look at the switches, it feels like we are able to use contact spray from above and down to them. Okay, so here we are with our bottle of Deoxit D5, and this is what we are going to use today, because we are going to clean push buttons and connectors, and D5 is perfect for that. If we read on the can, it says improves connection, check. It removes oxidation, yes, that's also what we want. It also lubricates, it seals and protects. So it seems like this is good to clean oxidation and to lubricate and seal it for future use. The switches we are going to have a look at today is these ones. And there are a bunch of these ones. And if we have a closer look at them, we can see the spring here. There's a spring. And inside here there's a gap where we can put the Deoxit. And what I have been advised to spray it down vertically, just like when it sits in the console. So probably we in the future don't need to maybe take away the channel strip from the console when doing this. But for now it's good to have the channel strip clean so we can see and get to know what we are doing here. So we'll start with this first one here. And we'll start like this. Then we work it. And it seems like you can see here on the side how how it's working. It's kind of cool. That might be a good start. Keep on with the next one. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to keep it open to actually see what we're doing and to see how it spreads. I think we might have to clean a bit afterwards. Take away the leftovers that gets to the PCB. I'm not sure if the PCB can be harmed by Deoxit. If you know that, please leave a comment. Okay, keep on. Yeah, this will take some time. Okay, so you start to feel it in your hands when you're doing this for a while, and if we have a look here, we have only started. Here we have done the 5 first switches, and we have a bunch more to go. Oh, there are so many switches here. Okay. When you're looking at the console, you don't realize how many switches there are on each channel, but we just keep on going, and I think you have to have an attitude doing this, not to rush things, but instead have a kind of meditative attitude, and just let it take its time. So we just keep on working our way all the way. And maybe fast forward a bit in the movie. Here we have a couple of switches that has LED lights to it, and these are the activation for the equalizers and the activation for the dynamic processors, and all sounds passes through this. So from what I heard, these are really important to get clean. All sound is passing through them, even if they are activated or not activated. These can make a big difference. And there are also a couple more down the line that are really important that we have to work a little bit extra with. So yeah, let's do it. And let's use both hands so we can save a little bit of time. And this one is brand new, so it has quite a lot of pressure in it, so it's quite difficult to not spray pretty much into it. I'm trying to be careful and just spray a little bit, but it's just coming a lot of it. So I hope the PCB is feeling okay with the Deoxit. But when thinking about it, it's probably just good for it. I mean, which component don't need the oxidation, lubrication and seals and protection? Okay, they put all the good words on the bottle, but yeah, this is what people are recommending. So yeah, we'll give it a try and hope that we can hear any difference. Okay, so it gets a little bit messy underneath. So we just take it away. And this paper we won't throw in the trash. If we read it, it says, warning, extremely flammable aerosol. Not flammable aerosol, it's extremely flammable. So this one is going into the loo and flush it down with lots of water. Okay. Maybe not on the iPhone. Okay, so I needed to find a way to make it to rest on something because it's empty here. And this might look a bit aggressive, but here's what I did. And this clamp is not, I haven't tightened it at all. It's just sitting there very loosely, so it has some grip and something to lean at. And it seems like it's working. So we'll just continue. While doing this, I read on the bottle, it says, cleaner audio, clearer video, reliable data. I mean, this got to have to be the good shit. There's only positive words on this bottle. And it's been around since 1956. This must be the good shit. One thing that's not mentioned on the bottle is that it's quite expensive. Yeah. And for 32 channels, I have no idea how many we will use of these. So if there is anyone from Deoxit out there, this could be your project to sponsor, because we will be using more of these. So please get in touch. You would be so much welcome. So here we go. The 42 switches or buttons are ready, and it took about 44 minutes. And this was for the first time. I bet this will go much faster when you get up a process of doing this. But all the switches and push buttons are cleaned. Wow. And actually it's not as messy as I thought it would be. Just a couple of places where I have to clean this. So it's looking good. Okay, one more thing to do. Okay, so we can use Deoxit to clean contacts. So while we're at it, I thought we would clean all the connectors for the ribbon cables as well. To clean this ribbon cable connector, we just spray it as a start. And have a toothbrush and gently brush it so all that teeth of the connector are getting cleaned properly. I received a tip from someone when talking about cleaning circuit boards that suggested me to take away all the integrated circuits and clean the legs. Well, I believe the idea is good, but they've been sitting there for 30 years and I guess they are pretty fragile and can get pretty stuck. So that's not something that we are going to do today at all. One of these is for the fader. So all the sounds will pass through this one as well. So we want this one to be really clean, of course. This toothbrush feels actually good using when cleaning, actually. You get access to all the small parts, and yet it's very soft and gentle. I mean, the ground looks good, but why not give it a shot when we're at it? That seems to be all the connectors and all switches ready and clean. It feels so good to finally have opened up the console and start to clean the channel strips. At this point we have cleaned all the switches on the first channel strips, and my God, it takes time, lots of time, but it will be worth it. There is so many switches on this console, but we'll just keep on going. If you haven't already, I would be so pleased if you would like to subscribe to the channel, maybe hit the like button and write something in the comments. It's so great to hear from you out there. And in the next video, we are starting to clean the potentiometers. That's where we have some big issues. And it's going to be so interesting to see if cleaning them will be a great improvement, or if the problem is something else. We don't know. You don't know. But check out the next video and we get to know it together. Until then, have a great week. Take care of yourself and your family, and we see you in the next video. Ciao!